Good morning from Grantham Station, which is not just on the East Coast Main Line, but there is a railway from Nottingham to Skegness which intersects it as well. And there are several stations along this line which have a very infrequent service. So it's not altogether surprising that currently you can find the least used station in Great Britain on this line, which only has one train in the afternoon that will bring me back here to Grantham. So I have enough time to take a walk to it. So we are up against the clock today. Come and join me. Well, before we even leave Grantham Station, I am loving this plant box here in the shape of an Azuma train. Oh, I can spot the LNER mascot looking out the window. Her name's Eleanor, by the way. That's because it sounds like LNER. It's probably the closest name to it, right? Well, perhaps this isn't the most glamorous start of the walk, passing under the railway. But at least it should be a pretty straightforward walk today, as I'm just going to be heading right alongside the Grantham Canal, which, to be fair, doesn't look the greatest at this stage either. And it hasn't taken too long along the Grantham Canal for there to be a big busy road away from the town, which has absolutely decimated the course of the Grantham Canal, so I'm gonna have to go the long way round. So I found the Grantham Canal again. We're 32 miles away from its confluence with the River Trent, and I believe I am just going to be staying on this towpath on this side of the canal the entire way now, which I guess if I was to have a preference, I'd rather be on the other side, but that's okay. I'm just happy to be out here nonetheless. So the Grantham Canal opened in 1797 and is about 33 miles long, but it had suffered a decline due to the competition of the railways and had become unnavigable by 1929. In this case, the railway would be the Nottingham to Grantham line. But they are in the process of trying to restore the full route. So although you would definitely struggle to get a boat along this bit, there will probably be nicer bits later which will look very much like what it used to. And I started the walk at Grantham Station at 10 AM. My train back I think is just after 5, so I have about 7 hours to do this 13-mile walk, which is enough time, but with rest and snack breaks and stopping to do video and take photographs, it's definitely going to take some more time, but I'll definitely make it. I'll make sure. You know, I wasn't expecting to see any boats along here, but considering that says the Grantham Canal Society on it, that's very much a boat which is helping to restore the canal and potentially clear it of any sort of rubbish or debris. So I believe there were 18 locks along this canal, and it seems like there are 67 bridges. I'm saying nothing about that number. I got chatting with a lady who was walking her dog in Grantham, who told me that there was a swan nesting beside the banks of the canal who was about to give birth, because only a couple of years ago, on the 8th of May, she had done so, and for context, that was only yesterday. So it seems like it's that time of year, and I mean, there's great evidence here. Look at them. That's brilliant. I've not seen any benches yet, so I don't really know if I'm going to be able to take a break along here. So should I maybe go for the next best thing and perch myself on that little branch? It could possibly be a seat. Yeah, this works. That's sturdy enough that I can use it as a footrest. I can place my bag right there, which is alright. I do tend to take a break every 3 miles or so on one of my walks, so I'll probably stop 3 times a day throughout if it's a 13-mile walk. Sometimes I push it to 4 miles. So I'm just going to have a couple of biscuits, some water just to give me energy at the beginning here, and also put sun cream on. Sun wasn't meant to be out today, it was meant to be cloudy, but I won't complain about it because it's quite warm, it's not too hot. As long as it's not too hot, it's okay. And I did want to, after rushing around the Isle of Wight for a couple of days, take a more chill walk today. And I did think about doing a canal one in the West Midlands somewhere, but I would have struggled to get out there with the trains. So I thought about doing a random one in Hertfordshire instead, but I also would have struggled with the trains. So I saw this and thought I could do that. And it's still pretty chill, just very pleasant along the canal. I've got the time to do this, but I am going to have to make sure I don't take my eye off the ball today. We do not want to miss this train. So I guess that was a slightly early rest break because I've only made it 2 miles from Grantham so far. I don't know if I've seen a mile marker along the canal before. Let's use Roman numerals. So we'll keep track of the number of bridges that we pass under as we go along. I don't quite know if we'll see any old canal locks or whether any of them had been restored already, but this is our second bridge of the day, number 66. So typically I didn't have to walk that much further up the canal to actually find a proper bench. I should have thought that there probably would be one by a bridge. This is on the other side of the canal though. I've just come over because I spotted this information board. I wanted to see what sort of information it had, and there's actually a great map here to showcase what parts of the canal have already been restored, and pretty much it is the section which we are walking. And funnily enough, the place where we're ending is such a quiet, least used place that it's not even on the map. Oh, I didn't know that we would be doing half-mile markers as well. I'm surprised this one exists, but I haven't seen one for 31 or 31.5 miles. Oh wow. Do you see what I see ahead? We have a canal boat. Someone's managing to navigate the Grantham Canal. We love to see it. Okay, so I found out that that is actually a boat tour organised by the Grantham Canal Society. I did wonder why somebody would be navigating up here, because they would hit a dead end eventually. There's nothing down this way. Okay, we've got bridge 65 now, but there's no towpath underneath it. I have to go over this one. The countryside is starting to look beautiful out here. Oh, we're just getting all sorts of distances then. 29 3/4 miles to go to the Trent. I'm not quite going that far. Now, something I would like to try and get back to doing is geocaching, which, if you don't know what that is, there's an app for it where you can find locations where somebody has hidden something for someone, and it's usually a little film canister reel. And I got into it for a small spell in 2018 where I said that I would try and find every geocache on the London Loop. And I stuck with it for one section. So I had a little look today, and apparently there is one somewhere around Bridge 64 here. The location on the map does seem to be just a little ways off of the canal though. So we'll take a walk down here and have a look. Usually there is a little hint. And what it's saying on this one is it's far too easy for a hint. So I'm going to hope I just see it maybe like stuck somewhere in there. So I had a look at the added text that the geocache has, and it seemed like it was up on the road rather than down on the canal. So I suspect it might be underneath this. Ah, see, this is a good spot because you can tuck it in there nicely. Oh, but that's a bit brambly and it's dark, I can't see it. Oh wait, that must be it here. Oh, hang on, gotta be careful picking it up. Nice, here we go. And there are little, oh look, there are little things in there. Is there a pen? Because I can write my name on this paper. No, there isn't, unfortunately. Maybe I should bring my own little pen out. But that's alright, I managed to find it. Right, let's put it back down there. Okay, there it is. I've got to get back down onto the canal now. Obviously I'm up against the clock, so I can't get too distracted. There we go. Those are the sort of mile markers I was expecting. A whole number. This one's actually dedicated to somebody. That's nice. You know what, I wouldn't mind a memorial in a on a mile marker. That's a funky little bridge for number 63. It's been nice to just plod on along the canal. I feel like I haven't done a linear walk like this in quite some time. Oh, I thought there was no number on this one for a second. And I just spotted it here. A little bit faded, but it's number 62. Well, hey, we do actually have a canal lock here, and it is number 18. So there must be 18 along the entire length. And it makes sense that this one would be here and has possibly been restored, as we are nearing the Canal Society headquarters on the canal. So this is where they're basing their restoration project. So I just came off of the canal quickly because it looks like there might be another geocache around here, that there's no hint for it. And that sign there intrigued me because that's suggesting that this is an old railway bridge. And I mean, it definitely looks the part, doesn't it? But I didn't think there was any passenger railways around here, and there wasn't. It seems like this was perhaps just a little freight line or something to a nearby place called Denton. I don't actually know where this geocache is. I thought it could be in that little hole in the wall, but then this is quite a dangerous spot. Anyways, I gotta get going, so I'm gonna move on. So this is perhaps the most popular spot along the Grantham Canal. You do have Lock 17 and Bridge 61 here, right beside the Canal Society, where it seems like there's a little cafe and all sorts. And I was intrigued by a little boat tour we saw earlier, and I just found this leaflet. Apparently it's only about a half an hour journey, but I feel like it must be longer than that because we saw it quite far away, definitely further than Bridge 62. And it's not one of them dates. I don't know what that boat was doing then. Oh, maybe someone's hired the boat. 2, 3 or 4 hour private trips. That makes sense. Ah, you even find a 28-mile marker underneath this bridge as well. Oh, well, I presume that's Lock 16. They're all next to each other so far. I've just found myself down here now instead of up on the towpath. I've really enjoyed this section along the canal because there hasn't been a proper towpath. I'm just on the grass. I'm quite near the water, so I feel like that area might flood during winter. But I just want to hop on over to the parallel running path, which seems to be called the Vikings Way, because there's another geocache. Let's try and find it. Okay, so this one's hint, rather self-explanatory, tells you that it's lodged in a small tree off the east side of the track, so it must be one of these, because I'm on the location right now. No, it wouldn't really be a good spot there. Oh wait, I think I see it. That must be it, right? Oh nice, this one's got a pen. I can write my name. There we go, all done. Right, let's package it back up. This is probably really tricky to do with one hand. Let me put the camera away. Well, it's just occurred to me that I must be on that disused railway now that I've taken the adjacent path. Lovely. I will always take a surprise disused railway path as part of my walk, but I am going to transfer back over to the canal towpath now, and that's right beside Bridge 60, which has unfortunately partly collapsed. Look at all the bricks down here. So I'm chilling by Lock 14, which is essentially the halfway point of this walk, and I am 3.5 hours in to my 7 hours allotted time, so I'm on target, but this break is going to put me below target. But the second half of the walk is always much faster than the first half anyways. I might just have to stop hunting for geocaches at this point, but it has given me an idea when the winter months come back and I'm kind of stuck to just doing London adventures. We can go around London trying to hunt for some That could be pretty fun. Remind me, we'll do that. So I think I've definitely reached the now unnavigable part of the Grantham Canal again, but it looks like they are doing work here to try and restore this section. Wow, this definitely looks like another lock, doesn't it? Pretty much dried out down there at the moment, no lock gates. Wow, I was expecting the 18 locks to be more spaced out along the canal. I'm making it up to the final one along this section, which is 12. 11 is not for a very, 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 very long time. And then they're all together on the stretch into Nottingham. I mean, it's not like lock 12 is entirely functionable right now anyways. Good luck getting a canal boat down there. Now I would say that this is an exciting point, but this is a very arbitrary and insignificant location. But I'm standing on a county border. Behind me is Lincolnshire, ahead of me is Leicestershire. And it hasn't taken too long for me to be in Leicestershire before I leave the Grantham Canal. And brilliantly, I can see a castle up there. I saw signs pointing to that earlier at Grantham. I didn't think I'd be able to manage to get a sneak preview of it, which is great. This is a rather arbitrary point to be leaving it, but also rather fitting, because, I mean, it does literally end right there. Now, it does say Bridge 57 on it. We started on Bridge 67. So even if you did somehow to manage to get your boat up here, you can't get past this point, just like when we joined it earlier after the main road in Grantham. But the Grantham Canal does not go up beside the railway, unfortunately, so I have to leave it to instead cross over the fields, which is going to be quite warm in the sun. Alright, so I've made it a good couple of miles across the fields now, and I'm sat in a park behind a little town called Bottisford, which does actually have a station. It's the intermediate one between the least used and Grantham, and I will actually use it later. I will get off the train here just for the sake of ticking off another station. But for now, all I have remaining to do is a good 3 miles or so all the way along the road to the least used station, which, considering it has a very infrequent service, it's not like I want to wait there 10 hours for the train behind. I was going to have to do this walk at some point anyways, so that's okay. And during it, I will cross another county border. I will pass from Leicestershire into Nottinghamshire, because Bottisford itself is pretty much just about jutting into the northern reaches of Leicestershire, and it's just occurred to me this might actually be the first walk I've done where I've passed through 3 different counties. I do have playlists of walks in dedicated counties, not for these 3, Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, because I don't do enough up this way, but I don't know what playlist I would throw this walk in if I did have them. Either way, it's just going to go into the canal walks playlist, even if I'm no longer on a canal. At least there's something interesting along the road, and that is a disused railway line, one which would have ran from Leicester to Grantham, and I think it would have even gone straight through at this point to Newark. And I'm interested that there is a do not trespass on the railway sign with a penalty of £200. Considering this railway line was in use from 1882 to 1953, I presume this hasn't been here since that time. I presume the penalty would have been a lot less back then. I mean, it definitely looks like it's been here for quite some time, right? But I'm wondering whether they've either moved it or this is in warning because the path just leads up to the actual live railway line and there's two curbs which just hit a dead end because the railway is in the way. And we learnt on Isle of Wight the other day that the penalty increased from £200 to £1,000 because on the Heritage Steam Railway we saw one of these old signs. These are quite a rarity nowadays. Kind of find it funny that we saw two in 1 week. And now the long nothingness begins all the way along the road for at least the next couple of miles. And even though it is national speed limit, it's looking like it's a relatively quiet road, so that's nice. Well, I've finally made it up the road and I've reached one half of the station name. Got a village sign here for Austin. Oh, it's just become silhouetted. There is also another geocache here and the hint is under yellow. I mean, this is yellow. Can I go under that though? I don't think I can. I mean, it wouldn't be in, right? This is where you keep the rock salt. Aha! Come to the back. That must be it. Yep. And you know what? I'm actually surprised that we have a pavement down to the station from the village. I thought it would be one of those locations where they just expect you to drive no matter what, even if the village is a 10-minute walk away. Oh! Never mind, I take it back. Oh no, I can see it and it's so far away. It's just one of those stations where the line just cuts straight through two villages which are nearby, so it's not actually best suited for either of them. There's a bloody bus which serves the station. That's a surprise. I'm also fairly certain that I can see the castle again way down there. The quality is awful, I will admit. Well, here it is. I've made it. The least used station in Great Britain this year is Elton and Austin. I think that's quite silhouetted again. So Elton again is quite a considerable walk down the road. There is at least a couple of houses outside of the station. I'm sure they benefit very much from the 2 trains a day. I guess there's enough space there for a couple of cars to park. Speaking of the trains, let's have a look at the timetable. Where are we? Elton and Austin. 6:55 in the morning, nothing else. On a Saturday, wow, it's even earlier and it's the first train, 5:56 to Nottingham. And then Sunday, there is absolutely nothing. Return train Monday to Friday, it is only the 17:11 to Skegness. On a Saturday, I believe that's the same. I think that's the train I'm getting now. Yes, 17:11. So I've made it with 20 minutes to spare, and you can see the other stations, just how infrequent some of them are as well. We're gonna have to do them one day. And here's the local area map. Absolutely nothing. Austin and Elton villages, yes, I've done it the other way around, are quite a while away, 15 to 20 minute walk. Aha, look, there's a sticker over the penalty. Underneath that, I presume it says £200. And first things I've noticed is that there is still a lot of East Midlands trains signs up. They're becoming a rarity now. And this is it, Elton and Austin. It seems to literally just be a small shelter on both platforms, grip bin I guess, and that's it. I've actually got to cross over the railway to get to the correct platform. I just noticed the signal down there go green. So it's a good thing I looked back and noticed that there was indeed a train coming. So Elton and Austin last year only got 68 passengers. That's not a lot. And this year, I'm one of them. I suspect I will probably have the station to myself before the train arrives, but I believe the annual statistics are from April to March. It's kind of like the tax year, and they get released every December. So when this year's statistics come out, I won't actually count as part of the passenger numbers. I will be included in next year's roster instead. This would have made a very good Station 1000, because back in 2017, and this is kind of how the whole visiting every station thing began, I made a trip to a specific station for the first time, and it was the least used that year, Shippey Hill, which had even less, a measly 12 passengers. But with limitations on where I could go today, it's ended up being Station 982, I believe. We're almost there. I don't really have a special one planned for a 1000. It did take some time for me to really get on board with trying to actually visit every station, because back then I think it was very much a case of trying to stop at every station. And I remember when I went to Nottingham for the first time in 2019, and the only time, I will go back though, I specifically kind of cut my adventure there short so that I could specifically catch this train to Grantham, the only one that would stop at Elton and Austin, so I could tick it off. It's just such a bizarre little place. It amazes me that small stations like this for very tiny villages that are not even nearby the station manage to survive, but then big railway lines through major towns got completely decimated and it doesn't have any stations anymore. Now, usually the least used station in the country is not the same one 2 years in a row, because people like me will end up coming out here and visiting it. So if it's not Elton and Austin next year, what will it be? Funnily enough, there is another station which is one of the least used in the country, called Ince and Elton. So any place which is just called Elton, just, I don't know, people there don't like the trains, or more so it's the trains don't want to serve them places. They could easily put in an extra morning and evening service to Grantham for people to get to work there rather than Nottingham. That alone would probably boost the passenger numbers slightly. I realise it's a very, very small place. It's never going to see huge passenger numbers, but put in a couple more services, you might see a difference. And Bottisford does have the East Midlands Railway signs, not the East Midlands Trains ones. I think that just goes to show how neglected Elton and Austin actually is. Actually, there's one East Midlands Trains era sign which has survived on the outside. So unlike Elton and Austin, with its one train a day in each direction, Bottisford gets essentially an hourly service. So I'm here for an hour. It has staggered platforms, an extraordinarily long ramp possibly leading to some sort of exit, and there's a lot of great information here. There's an old timetable which how do you read this? Either way, it looks like Elton and Austin used to get a lot more services. It used to just be called Elton, it seems, and it was an additional station between Bottisford and Grantham. Some great photos of what the station once would have looked like, and this one even mentions the castle and the Grantham Canal. So funnily enough, Bottisford is the least used station in its respected county. Whilst Elton and Austin is Nottinghamshire's and the entire country's, Bottisford is Leicestershire's. And I'm sure it must have a little bit more than 68 users a year, right? Yeah, try 56,000. Okay, so I'm going to go for a little wander around the village, which just so happens to be the parts that I didn't see when passing through earlier, including passing right by the church, which was very much my way marker when I was crossing the fields earlier. And if a place has Ford or Ford in its name, then it's safe to assume that it probably has a river around there, because ford is an old English word to mean crossing of a river, and in this case it's the River Devon. And no, I think I've pronounced that correctly despite the spelling of the county. No, it is not River Devon. Well, Bottisford is quite the charming little place. I did get that impression earlier when I was passing through. It even has a village sign here, even if it has seen better days. Okay, so I've made it back to Bottisford station now. I still have about 15 minutes until the train, and I am quite tired. I have done quite a lot of walking today, but I am still going to go for a little bit of an explore of Grantham, because when I got there this morning, I headed immediately for the canal. I didn't go into the town at all, so that's what I'm going to do. And I think I have close to an hour until my advance single ticket to Peterborough. And it would actually be an East Midlands Railway service rather than an LNER one, which actually takes longer, like 10 minutes longer. And I presume that's because it can't hit the same top speed that the LNER trains can, because it's more of a local train, even though the services can go from Liverpool to Norwich, which is like a major intercity route, which is insane. East Midlands Railway to Liverpool. And then from Peterborough, I'm going to catch a Thameslink train into London. It is slightly slower, of course, but it's worked out better because I've saved myself about £10 by doing this, so I'd rather go the slightly slower way. And it's just occurred to me that although Bottisford has so many more passengers that use it than Elton and Alston, I will not contribute towards its numbers because I just have a ticket from Elton and Alston to Grantham. I've just used it to break my journey. The statistics will never know that I've used Bottisford station. Right, first things first, I'm glad I saw this earlier here at Grantham. It's time to refill my water bottle. I'll be have to make sure I bring more than 1 litre out on my summer walk soon. So the first thing I wanted to come and have a look at was the River Witham. Now, I visited Lincoln last year, of which this river also flows through, and somebody corrected me in the comments on my mispronunciation. I thought it was Whittam, like the town in Essex, but it isn't, despite it being spelt the same, so thank you for that. I've come quite the ways up the River Witham, but I should have enough time to loop back around to the station past the church and Grantham House, which is a National Trust property which dates all the way back to 1380. I will say, it is a stunning church. It has a huge spire. And it seems like there's some sort of concert taking place here tonight. Loads of people are going in right now. Whoa. This building has suffered a fire. I was just about to say that this part of Grantham is much nicer than around the station. It's kind of the historical side of the town. Because I won't lie, around the station, it was horrible. It's just a shame that it is a bit of a walk back to the station now. And so I've made it back to Grantham station, or the car park at least. I have 10 minutes till my train still. So thank you for coming along with me on that adventure. I'm really glad that I got another really awkward station ticked off under my belt, and Bottisford. And I'm sure there will be more soon, including station 1000, which at this point I don't know if it's going to be a special one. It might just be a really random one, but stick around to find out what that will be. And I'll see you then. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Can the birds be quiet, please? No? Are you going to let me do this piece to camera? I don't think they are. I think I'm just going to have to embrace it.